Mr Premier, Minister Garrett, Mr Mark Stone, Mr Rob Durand, distinguished Congress delegates from all over the globe, friends of Australia's marvellous parks. It's a tremendous honour to be able to join in welcoming you as patron of this large international Congress. I too wish to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wurundjeri people on which we're meeting, and to pay my respects to their elders past and present. And I'm sure you would all wish me, on your behalf, to thank both the speakers and the dancers for opening this Congress in such a marvellous way. And I too, like the Premier, want to begin with the preamble to the Constitution of the World Health Organization, written as far back as 1946, which defines health in the following way. You've already heard it. Health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Given the potential of parks to contribute to all these areas, it's little wonder that the World Health Organization enthusiastically agreed to becoming a co-sponsor of this Congress and to regard it as an official World Health Day event. Now let's spend a minute or two examining the three goals. First, complete physical well-being. Never has the need for better physical fitness been more urgent. The spread of obesity and type 2 diabetes is no longer just an epidemic, which is what the Premier called it. It's truly a pandemic. The sedentary lifestyles and self-indulgent eating habits of industrialised countries like Australia are fast engulfing the developing countries with their emerging middle classes. As a result, cardiovascular and metabolic diseases are being added to the burden of infectious diseases and poor nutrition. Here in Australia, as most of you know, we're in the midst of a robust debate about reform of our health system. Have you heard of this one, Premier? Well, for a medical researcher like myself, the starting point must be prevention. A greater emphasis on preventive medicine and positive health promotion. In fact, Victoria led the nation in creating the Victorian Health Promotion Foundation, which I had the unique honour of chairing for a decade. And this is a beacon for the nation in that field. Well, parks are the best places for running, walking, cycling, and other forms of beneficial exercise, which should be a part of every person's daily life. Second, mental well-being. Is there anything more conducive to relieving stress and getting in touch with the more tranquil, sensitive and inner side of one's being than communing with nature? Here in Australia, our parks and gardens present a superb diversity of nature's riches, from the awesome and majestic down to this dry continent's surprisingly rich variety of tiny little wildflowers. As our population expands, the threats to biodiversity are ever present, and our parks provide the greatest single bulwark against further environmental degradation. Let me express here a special word in favour of the island continent's marine parks, the importance of which is at last being recognised. Third, social well-being. As a migrant to this country myself, I take great joy in seeing on a daily basis the use which people of all ethnicities make of our parks and gardens. As I go on my slow, stately jog every morning, in Yarra Bend Park queue, or should I perhaps more accurately describe it as my daily shuffle? I tend to see more of my neighbours than at any other time. Now, admittedly, that early in the morning, my two Border Collie dogs are better communicators than I am. But the brief social contacts make a great start to the day. All sorts of spontaneous or planned events in public parks can promote social cohesion and a vibrant sense of community. Now, we're going to be talking a lot in these next few days about parks and reserves. But bear in mind that there is also a lot of private land in Victoria. I've had the great good fortune of working closely with Minister Jennings on a very serious and actually quite difficult exercise, namely the Victorian Government's Land and Biodiversity White Paper. Yes, this does say a lot about how in the next 20 to 50 years, because it's a blueprint for future action that's designed to last 20 to 50 years, how our parks and our reserves can contribute to biodiversity and to mitigation against climate change. But it also tackles the much harder task of what to do about private lands. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a dense document. I make no apology for that. We worked very hard to make it a scientifically, absolutely accurate document with 5 of the finest ecological scientists in the nation joining me on the Scientific Advisory Committee. It's got 120 recommendations. It's a blueprint for the future. I do very much suggest that it's worth your while scanning it, because it's going to be very much on side with what we'll be debating here this week. Now, in this country, we have a bit of a tendency to take the good things it offers for granted. Our parks are a great example. Therefore, this Congress, Healthy Parks, Healthy People, is opportune and timely. I particularly appreciate the multidisciplinary nature of the forthcoming discussions. Our healthy parks do not happen by chance. Their optimal contribution to our lives depends on collaboration at many levels, calling on multiple skills. As these days progress, let us come out of our silos. Let us network creatively. Let us learn from one another how healthy parks can enrich all our lives. It's wonderful to be able to welcome well over 1,000 delegates from 35 countries. As your patron, I want to thank the many people whose long planning and meticulous attention to detail have got us to this point. Enjoy the next 5 days. Work hard and have fun. I salute you all. Thank you.